Welcome back to the Super Tuesday recap. This is your host Chris here, and we've got my Star Trek Discovery crew here. We are going to dive into, the next 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery Season 2. So it's Episode 3, Point of Light, Episode 4, and Boya for Karen, and then Episode 5, Saints of Imperfection. So we're going to jump right into these. I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, I love this fucking show. Yeah,
this show is spectacular.
Just have to throw that out there that this show is so fucking good, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about in this episode because we just spent about a good 5 minutes before this talking about the return of Hugh, and I didn't get to tell. Like, I'm just letting you guys know right now. I have Kelpien jokes, so they're coming.
I hate you.
They're coming.
I hate you so much right now.
The Kelpien jokes are coming. The Kelpien jokes are coming. So I'm just letting you know right now. You gotta get that out there. So all right, let's jump right into this. And so we talked about this last time when we came together and we were talking about the first 2 episodes. I'm really enjoying the way that they're making the search for Spock part of the storyline. But each episode, and we brought this up the first two reviews we did, that each episode is still its own contained story that might not necessarily deal with searching for Spock or the signals or anything like that. But and you're getting some really, really good development for all the characters involved. I've really been enjoying that this season. How about you guys?
Same.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Not only that, but with the character development, they've gone deeper into I guess you could say the architect of the Star Trek universe, like the Klingons, how maybe Starfleet really works, Section 31, and even within the dynamic of the crew, they're really getting into that, and it's not detracting from the overall story at all.
Right.
So yeah, I'm enjoying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm enjoying it because, you're right. It is the quote unquote search for Spock, but it's not the driving force. It's like something they're doing in the background. It's still going, but they also have the other missions as well, which I appreciate because that's actually very realistic. It's not like they would drop everything and that would be their seminal focus.
Yeah, you're doing something. It's like, oh wait, we got this really big emergency. We got to go save Tilly. We got this giant dying whatever the fuck it is in front of us that's holding us here, and we're gonna try to figure out what this shit is. And then it's like, oh, that's right, Spock. Right, we gotta go find Spock. We gotta go do that shit. Right, that is part of the mission we're on right now. We gotta do that. So you're right. I do. It's allowed this fleshing out of all these characters, and getting in there, like what they've done with Tilly. We're getting more with Burnham herself and just everybody there. It's just the way they've been able to do these and not lose a larger mission, but then also kind of really get into and dig into the Star Trek, the Star Trekky stuff. Like, hey, at one point, I think it was episode 4 when they were like, well, this is part of the Discovery's mission is to kind of discover, so...
Yep.
We can't just blow this thing out to hell and keep moving.
Right. Which I'm not gonna lie, would have been my first reaction too.
Of course it would.
We are not surprised.
Of course, Lorca Jr., of course.
Look at the slander. Look at the slander. Slander.
Don't give me any ideas to be walking around with a Lorca was right shirt.
Oh,
listen.
Oh, no.
At this point, I'm more of a like the Emperor was right type deal. So
okay, let's just jump into it. When my girl showed up, I'm like, okay, see,
like you don't.
The first time or the second time?
All of the times, all of the time. She just Michelle Yeoh owns the damn room when she's on screen.
Yeah.
Like they give her a piece of scenery and just say go to town, and she just chews it all.
Wait, you
I'm
mean
not gonna lie. I'm grown.
I'm sorry, we're not going to talk about the fact that Pike fell all the way in love. That's because he was going, nope.
He was so fangirling on her on the 3rd episode when she popped up for a bit on that shuttle, and he's like, oh, we met at the academy. you know.
The one that got away, and Burnham's like, listen, you don't really want to. You might want to chill. You might not want to.
Yeah, you don't want to dance with that, Georgiou.
Right?
That ain't your party.
Nah. I'm fully prepared to risk it all.
And then he was like, when he was talking to the Admiral, he was like, no, I don't want her. But
right.
No, he was gonna get in trouble. That's what that was. He was afraid of fraternization. Let's be honest.
Like, I love when she shows up. I love the pitch meeting to get Emperor Georgiou into, Section 31. It's like, so I get to kill people? Like, with a badge?
Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's go.
and kill people when, how, and let's do it.
And I get special technology that lets me hide and go. When do I sign up? Like, does everybody else know we can do this? Like,
she shows going to take over.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
She's going to end up. I mean, we know because it's going to be a spinoff, and I'm sure that they're not going to spin her off into a show where she's, not being a full badass. But it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, cause I'm not gonna lie, when Ash and Lorella gotten like stopped by old boy, I was like, not looking good for our heroes here. It was like that old school, old timey like 66 Batman. Looks like the dynamic duo's in a sticky situation this time. How are they gonna get out of it? And I was like, man,
that weapon that guy pulled out, that was like, oh, that's a cheat code. He's cheating. He's cheating.
Right.
It so was. You're right.
Because Ash and Lorel showed up on him. I was like, nigga, you in trouble now because they just killed all your men. You did. Oh, come on, man. You cheating like shit. What the fuck is this?
You're not supposed to have that weapon. That's supposed to be like a different level. You have that weapon. What's going on here?
Right.
We're not going to talk about the fact that when Tyler was like, okay, yes, I'm going to be with you. I was like, no, my ship has to live. And then my ship lived because Georgiou came through and scooped him up and faked his death.
Yeah, Georgiou was like basically, well, so that brings me to a good question, right? She made a good point, right? That Laurel needed to basically have Ash and, her baby look like they were killed. And basically like Ash had betrayed them and stuff like that to maintain her power. All true. Right? But she clearly didn't want to. So now my question is, because Georgiou also in episode, what was it? 4? Yeah, episode 4 told Dude to kind of stay a little bit longer than he wanted to. So now I'm wondering, it's like, is she doing it on purpose? Like, does she know how Ash feels for and Burnham feel for each other and was like, yeah, you really need to be with Burnham. So I'm going to go ahead and tell your main girl right now that you got to dip. And also say that your baby got to go too, and we're gonna go ahead and clean it up for you. And I'm kind of like I'm wondering if she's doing that on purpose. Like I feel like again you can't trust her, so there's got to be another motive, right?
But you can trust the affection she has for Burnham.
I was gonna say though, I also feel like you're ascribing motives to her that are more benevolent. I feel like maybe she did hold him aside for Burnham, but it's towards a darker end, not because that's my girl, my daughter, and she wants him.
Oh, I actually no. Thank you for clearing that up because I'm with you on that. I believe that she wants her daughter, but like her daughter. Like it wouldn't surprise me if she's trying to turn Burnham dark. And like think about it, like. We already said that we think she's going to eventually take over Section 31. So, like, her with Burnham turned dark in Section 31, like, that's kind of scary. That's basically her being the Emperor again.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to
What I'm waiting for is for Section 31 to go back into the shadows because they're practically there, but too many people know about them. So, what I think might happen is when Georgiou takes over, she's going to hide them off into the cut. So, it'll be more clandestine, so like Admiral Cornwallis won't be walking around their ship all willy nilly.
Right. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. I'm
not gonna lie. Pike was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Does that shit look like a fucking asteroid? What the fuck is that? How'd you get those?"
He did. Oh my god. He was like, "Tyler, you shut the fuck up and stay on this bridge."
Right. He looked over. And Ash was like,
"You too."
Yeah. When Ash is communicating, we're just like, "Yo, what kind of communicator is that shit?" Like. He's like, yo, I thought I had the hot shit in the fleet with the Enterprise. What what are those? What do you got? What do you got over there, yo? What the fuck is this shit? Like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. Pike had a little bit of technology envy, a little bit there, yo. Not saying I don't blame him. Because
with that vessel, like they were going to tractor beam, and then they sent these probes. Like, what are they doing? Oh, they're sending anchors to tractor beam better. They're next level.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, I ain't never seen some shit like that. I was like, tractor beam. I was like, that's not a tractor beam. You trying to blow her up? I'm like, what are you doing? Oh,
exactly. I was sitting there like, wait a minute, what? Oh,
I want one. I want several now.
Okay, we're jumping around, but this. Okay, so here's the thing. Y'all gonna hear this when we record Black Lightning tomorrow. I made the mistake of watching Discovery first and then watching Black Lightning.
You don't do that. We've talked about that.
No, never.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. But Parrish and I were talking about this. There was so much happening in this episode. And can I just say, I love the partial jump, the effects. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, episode 5 is completely cinematic. Absolutely cinematic.
Yeah,
I want them to take a few more minutes of that, and they can put it on the big screen.
I want them to talk about the specifically the budget for this year, because I know that they estimated the budget for last year was between 8 and 10 million an episode. Yo, man, I mean, first episode was beautiful, but first season was beautiful, but this season is beautiful.
Yeah, and they can justify it now because I guess they hit their goal of 4 million CBS Access subscribers early, so they're making their way, I guess you can say.
Good, because
yeah,
I love the way the show looks. It's fucking amazing. So, also know. So going back to the first episode that we watched, in episode 3, I love that we saw the first viewings of one. So when we first saw the Klingons in the first season, we were like, oh, they kind of look kind of different. We're now getting that look back, even to the fact that we saw the images of the battle cruiser they're building. Yeah, which looks like the classic version. I even love the when Ash kind of mentions like, hey, yeah, I mean they're even going back to like growing their hair out, and I was like, that's a good. You know what? That is what it was missing, really. And they are growing their hair out, and they are looking more like. I just love how the show is reconciling these things. That I don't even think that these have to necessarily be like answers to fan things, but they're like naturally done. Like it makes sense. The Klingon Empire is going into a new era. It makes sense.
And also with the presentation, like we're going to be all under one house, so we're going to eventually get that unified Klingon symbol that we all recognize instead of these individual house symbols.
Exactly. I'm very like I love that we have now stakes into what happens with the Empire, like in what goes on there. Because now, even like looking at L'Rell, we're like, she's not bad. Like she was like kind of the bad person. And I'm not gonna lie, like when I'm just gonna call her Emperor from now on. When the Emperor showed up, I kind of wanted L'Rell to be like, "Didn't we eat you?"
I was waiting for that too.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
Like what kind of?
I was waiting for it. Like
what kind of evil Starfleet trickery is this? It's like, I just kind of wonder and bring that up. I was just like, oh wow, you guys were snacking on a little bit of Philippia, just with a little salt and stuff like that on there, and just. Okay, we're not gonna mention that.
Okay, Chris, are you hungry? Do I need to like food? What is it with you and Kelpiens and Georgiou snacks? What is happening with you?
Do we want to do the Kelpien thing right now? I'm trying to lead us into. Do we want to do the Kelpien thing right now? I can do the Kelpien thing right now.
Let's get it out the way. Let's be horrible and get it out the way. Go ahead.
First of all, not even being horrible. Like I have this in my notes. I have it written down. Episode 4 is Saru's flu game.
What do you mean?
It's his flu game. He was bent
Jordan.
over, not making like Jordan's flu game in the finals.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah. It's like his flu game. He was, from the start, like he was like. Some people say it was the flu. Some people say it was a hangover. In the beginning of the episode, he was kind of dipping salt into his, like he was hanging over his cup, like he was like he had a rough night. Not gonna say like Saru was kind of fucked up, right? Yeah. But so look,
so
I wasn't
saying that now that he has his ganglings off, he's not going to taste as well.
No, it wasn't even that. because that just means they were ripe. Like his whole the whole thing with him dying it wasn't he was dying. He was just hitting puberty. That's really what that was. It was just hitting puberty.
And he didn't know it.
And he didn't know. And it's also like when they're the ripest. It was. It's like when you pick Kelpien, you pick Kelpien when they're like, when they get ripe. My thing was this though. If I'm not supposed to eat Kelpien, why is his room look like he already dressed it for like that? Like he was laying on a bed of lettuce.
He lives in a salad bowl.
I mean,
he lives in a salad bowl.
Am I wrong?
Do not encourage him. You stop to.
He was laying on a bed of lettuce. And they were putting garnishes around him with the little flowers and things like that.
House. Y'all are terrible. Oh my God.
Looking like a salmon Caesar salad.
I'm just, what kind of wine goes with Saru? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Is it a red? Is it light white? Dessert wine? What are we doing? Like, how are we doing this? It's like, just saying, if you're not supposed to eat Kelpien, maybe you don't. I'm not trying to victim blame here, but I'm just saying, if you don't want me to eat Kelpien, don't lay on a bed of lettuce.
This is the last time we're gonna be able to make these jokes, right?
I know, right.
Oh, Saru done leveled up.
He's Saru X now.
I was gonna say Saru done leveled up.
Yeah. He's like, wait. Like, I just can't get over the fact that like the entire time I'm sitting there watching, right, and I know it was a serious moment, and Saru and Burnham was like, I don't want to do this, but the entire time I'm going like, wait, if you just cut them joints off, like he's not gonna die, because the whole thing was that's when they ascend, because we remember this from the short treks. That's kind of when they're like they know that they're ripe and they go up to be culled. He's not gonna die though. He just
but he didn't know that.
I know he didn't know that. I know
that's what he was saying. His people were told by his own people that at this point you're gonna die anyway, and that's why you're being sacrificed, and that's why he's about to go like y'all said, go on his Malcolm X and go free his people. Like y'all done lied to us. We just get free.
Yeah, we about to get Saru X.
Okay.
We about to get Saru X on this.
Did anyone see the preview for the next episode that's about that? About the creatures?
Yeah.
Oh my God, do they look scary?
Yeah.
They kind of look like that thing that killed Tasha Yar, but better.
Yeah, a much better version of it.
Much better version. I'm like,
real
you know what? I'm checking out. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing, though.
Wait. Real quick. Speaking of Hiroja, I don't know if any of y'all saw this. I guess one of the former showrunners or directors on the Generation, Star Trek: The Next Generation, did like, this is the, so many years ago, Tasha Yar died. You really
saw that.
Like, actually, this is the day y'all told me I was fired, but okay, you do you.
Oh, yeah, when Rick Berman just snatched her com badge off and said, you won't be needing this anymore.
Right.
Yeah. He's always been trash. He's always been trash.
Trying to make it seem like, this is such a sad time. She's like, bitch, you fired me. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what is if Saru is his slave name, what are we going to be calling Saru now that he's found his enlightenment? Is he like Saru X?
Yeah, he's Saru X, man.
Saru X. We're gonna call him Saru X from now on. He was like, I feel power. I'm like, no, dude, that's just puberty. That means you basically got circumcised and you're good now. Yeah, I'm just like, dude.
You know what? I'm about to go to hell. Saru just graduated from the Frederick Douglass Marcus.
Yo, I can't
even finish that sentence.
Because that was remember when I texted you that day and I was like, have you caught up? And you were like, no. I had all kinds of militant jokes ready for you.
So this is basically like,
just in time for Black History Month.
So we're gonna go into like, let my people go.
So
this learning to put Saru into.
So this
is it's gonna be a him moment. There's gotta be a him moment. There's gotta be a wedding.
So is this like pan Kelpienism now that we're going with? Like,
the first thing I thought was that Martin Luther King speech where he said somebody told a lie one day. What I was thinking.
Oh, I just like it was just, like the whole thing, and I guess it's because we know like what goes on, but it's all jokes aside, it's been one of the things that's been a really good development of Saru's character. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes forward with him because, like you said, now he's now awake and like he had this moment where just like, yo, everything I'm known is a lie. Like everything they told me people is a lie. They're basically, committing genocide on my people. And not only that, but the rest of the universe is pretty much looking the other way. Like,
but here's the other thing about it, though. Here's the thing. So when his tendrils fell off, he was like, "I'm not scared anymore." All right. So what can he like? What is his level up? What are his new power? What is his new power set? Because
we saw some of that power set though. That one episode where he was like kind of deranged. So he was already powerful. So what is he gonna do now?
Well, now I'm thinking they did this on purpose. Like they called these people before they got to a point where they could actually give them the blues. So what were they so scared of that they were culling these guys before puberty?
I see what you're saying. Like if like you said, we saw him pretty much wrecking shit in that one episode. So and that was with fear. So without fear.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on down.
Are you sure these people are like snatching them up and eating them, or are they using them as foot soldiers?
Probably. No, I still think they're being snatched up and ate.
Yeah, I think they're eating.
I mean,
because aside from Saru, you don't see any other Kelpiens outside of that quadrant.
But if they're foot soldiers and you're using them as, cannon fodder, very effective cannon fodder, that could be a reason why you don't see them.
But then there would have been sightings, and then Georgiou wouldn't have had to say, well, you guys are a Category 1 planet. We can't interact with you. Do you see what I mean? If these are foot soldiers being seen on the field in any way, shape, or form by any Federation planet, we'd have known about them.
We would have been able to make contact with them because they'd have made contact with us.
Exactly.
And not on top of that, have you seen the way a Kelpien looks on a bed of lettuce? I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Don't knock it until you try it. Get a little marinara sauce. I'm just saying it could be good. Just could be good. So,
I'm on Pacific Standard Time. I'm about to have lunch after this. Come on now.
I don't know.
Seafood?
Calamari. I'm just saying. Throwing it out there. But I'm there's other things you gotta remember. This is an entire people that's been living as like their entire way the Kelpians talk about themselves are as as prey. And we're going to probably find out that that's not really what they're supposed to be. Just so happens they just happen to have a more powerful, more advanced race come in and basically tell them that that's what they were. It's not like they're like deer. They're like us. Imagine if before humans got to the destructive creatures we are today, some alien race came in and used us as food, and we never developed past that. I think that's kind of what the Kelpiens are. It's like they've been artificially held back. And so we don't know where they're going from this. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that next episode. And to me, it's been interesting seeing how we still get these kind of episodes going forward. Well, we still haven't met Spock. Spock still hasn't shown up in person, face to face with that with Burnham. And I love the fact that going back to episode 3, that we're kind of getting more information on why Spock and Burnham haven't talked and what that separation is. At the end we find out that she did something to kind of ensure that her and Spock were pushed apart. Yeah. We still don't know what that something is.
And she also gave a valid reason, and they haven't really got into it. And I think it might be brought up again about the logic extremists that were basically trying to kill her a couple different times. And that's why she ran away. That's why she pushed Spock away and tried to push her family away when she ran away. So she might have done that as well, but I would be curious as to exactly what she had done to sever that link, because she did say that at one point to at least Sarek that they were friends. They were bonded together. But yeah.
Like I'm very intrigued. I like how the slow build of it makes sense. Even her hesitation to want, like when she first, I think it was like, what was it, episode 4, where she told Pike, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be involved in being close. And then by the end of the next episode, she was like, yeah, no, I do want to be involved in this. Going from all that, I really like how they did that. So yeah, it's been great. Love how they've been slow building that. And it makes it when they do come face to face, you're gonna have a real tension of what that reaction is gonna be, and then finding out what they went through. And even if they don't get into what the logic extremists were doing this season, they've been bringing it up now 2 seasons in a row. At some point, we got to delve into that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm also intrigued by that as well. So yeah, again, the character development has just been really, really, really good. These episodes and building in from there. So, where do you guys want to go next? Now that we've got the Kelpien stuff out of the way.
Well, let's talk about the Spock thing because he's part of episode 3. How like he's wanted for murder, yet at the same time, when Amanda comes aboard, she's like, "Yeah, we thought these angel things were just like some fairy tale in his head."
Yeah,
and I guess they've been with him the entire time, and it's the reason why he was able to find Michael when she ran away. Which I hope they get. I guess when Spock does eventually show up, or maybe they'll talk about it before then. Like, I'm assuming that when she ran away, she was in some kind of danger or threat. Like, what does that mean? Like, how does this all tie into? And especially since I guess the last episode we find out tachyons, which means maybe time travel.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, that's ridiculous. No, it's probably a transporter ship. I'm like, let's go back with the first one. We're talking about time travel. Let's focus on that one, guys.
Like, do you know the universe you're in?
Right. I was like, yeah, it's one of those things, it could be time travel, could be a cloak ship, could be, hey, go back to the first one, time travel? Yeah, we're on Star Trek, right? Yeah, time travel is what it is. It's time travel. It's definitely time travel. Definitely time travel. It's like, you can't fake us that was other 2, honestly, reasonable explanations that it could also be. It's time travel. It's time travel.
Especially when one of the short treks takes place, years and years and years ahead in the timeline.
So that is a good...
And the Discovery is abandoned.
That's another good point, right? Because, with us doing the Saru episode next, we know that they're tying that into what we saw in the short treks, right? And even... I would even say that, now I'm now thinking about it, Tilly and Mary. It kind of reminds me of the short trek that hers was, where she was dealing with the other alien life form that came on, where she kind of befriended it and found out what she needed and talk to her there. I'm like, actually, that's kind of similar to what Tilly's doing here. So yeah, we do have this one short trek where we're in the future. So clearly, time travel's involved somewhere.
Yeah.
Or it could also do with the network, where we know that the mycelium network, they can't really travel without maybe potentially destroying those group of people, even though they pulled Culber out. Like the travel would.
The Josep, she said they were called.
Yeah, Josep. Yeah, and you still also have that big bug thing too, as part of the ecosystem that hasn't popped up yet, which I first thought was going to be the monster.
Now, here's my question on that though. They started getting torn up basically when Stamets was doing the jumps. To say nothing about what happened with the Glen. Is it really? Would the spore drive really continue to tear it up? Even because the reason it was getting torn up, honestly, was because Culber was taking the bark from the trees, so the spores wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, but May was explaining that his jumping was affecting the ecosystem. Like when they jumped in and out, it was disruptive.
Well, and I think. And it was probably, I'm wondering if it was because the spore drive was never meant for a human being to operate. Like, I think it was different when it was the tardigrade, because that being had that ability somewhat inherent in it.
Right. And it was we probably should assume that it's a natural part of both ecosystems. Like it literally bridges the two.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm really interested in how they're doing that, because it also explain by really kind of going into what the network is, and that is its own ecosystem. You can then almost make the argument that First Contact and the Starfleet regulations apply there, and can you really justify destroying another ecosystem for your own travels? Like, so I think that might be where they go with that.
But May has demonstrated that they're intelligent, that they're capable of building and doing science, and their own tools, and they may not be warp drive capable, but they are capable of some form of travel. So
exactly.
But I think the larger issue, and this is why I like this, is that if they're traveling by this network is inherently destructive to the ecosystem, then that completely explains why. Once we get into the main, timeline, the original series timeline, why all the ships in the fleet weren't traveling that way.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're still using the old school method of dilithium and the destructive mining capability, which plays into the larger Star Trek thing. I mean, that's why Star Trek 6 happened, was because the Klingons destroyed their moon from dilithium mining. So
exactly,
this show has so many layers.
Right. And it also goes into the idea of, even this season, we don't see them do that jump very often. That's like, very rarely they're doing the jump. They're traveling by warp and regular travel most times. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued about how they're doing it. And by building out this other world, you have, other things that have to be considered now. You have intelligent life in there. It's not just harmless like they thought it was. So. Really interested in seeing how they continue to build that out and deal with that there. Cool. I'm kind of I want to save the Hugh stuff for last. Let's save that one for last. And let's go back. Let's go back and dealing with Ash, because now he's part of Section 31. And
sorry.
Yeah, I mean he's really still got an identity crisis though.
Yeah. I know. That's all right though. That's all I care about. I'm shallow. I don't care.
But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting seeing, because we also know his lawyers is going to be stretched now three ways, right? With the Klingons, and L'Rell, with Discovery and Burnham. And then obviously with Section 31, who kind of put him in as. I mean, obviously, I think that the Section 31 will be the ones he betrays first, because fuck them. Yeah. but
I don't think he will do so, because he clearly has a bond towards his son. Well, he wants to protect his kid.
Well, no, that's not. I don't even think it's that. It's that Section 31 is kind of a place for misfits, and he feels like a misfit.
You took it out my mouth.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I don't know if you want to betray them and have them take his son. Like, they know where his kid is.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm just backing up. I appreciate this season addressing the issue that we kind of talked about in season 1, where L'Rell was like, yes, we were in love and we were having sex during this transformation. Yeah, and we were like, that looks like rape. And he actually did look like rape. Out. And in that conversation, he was like, I know you said we were in love, but when I think about it, it feels like a violation. I'm like, yes, they addressed it. Yes, I'm so glad.
Which is something they don't often do when it comes to, this is a trope that's been happening, I would say, in television the last 10 years, where female rape is not really properly done.
It's used as a joke or a punchline, yeah.
Right. Yeah, as a joke or a punchline, or it's glossed over. There's been a few shows I watched where I was like, that's rape.
Yeah, like Scandal. Sorry.
You can't come back and be a good person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And they also showed a little bit of it in like the preview. I was like, I kind of forgot about that. And I also love the fact that they pointed out that the baby was conceived before the transformation. I'm like, thank God, because I
know, right? I was like, oh my God, Mama, no.
Come on, lie. When I first saw that little baby, I was like, oh no, we didn't do this.
Please just be full Klingon, please.
Right. For like, I don't have time.
But they also address the fact that his condition is not necessarily quite a mutation, but maybe it's something that people, like certain genetic disorders, you say, they might choose not to have children, per se, to pass on that gene. So I found that very interesting, that the child turned out to be very obviously his kid. Like, they made it obviously his kid.
Oh yeah. That's that baby daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his baby daddy. Yeah.
I be the pappy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that child had to go, because when he got older, how are they going to explain Tyler to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I think that's also why Tyler had to go, right? Because it's like, he's the torchbearer, but I'm like, yeah, listen, we've all seen we've seen. I mean, and granted, he has a better claim to being there than say other members of Starfleet that we've seen in the halls of the Klingon High Council and things like that. But I'm like, still, dude, they ain't gonna accept you. Like, if they can't accept Worf, and they ain't gonna accept other people, like, hey, dog, you talking kind of greasy right now. You in a human body right now. I ain't trying to body shame right now, but I'm just saying, my dude, listen, they ain't gonna accept you. They ain't never gonna, right? And so I actually appreciate the fact that they didn't drag it out, because I thought that was like, oh wow, this is gonna be interesting. Are we gonna do like half a season of them having to deal with the threats against L'Rell because they don't trust Tyler and things like that? And they were like, nope, we're gonna take care of that right now because we know this is not gonna work.
And again, I mean, going back to like the show as the narrative aspects of the show, like they have mastered what I have come to call the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. method of storytelling. Like they instinctively know which things to solve right away and which things to stretch out over a season. Like the pacing for the show is absolutely amazing. The only show I can think of that has mastered storytelling like this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because it's like you said, like, there are certain things you expect. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., like you said, it's the other show that when you expect things to drag out and they take care of it right there, it's like, oh, okay, we're done. We're done. Okay. Like, there was, I think it was episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. No, 5. Yeah, 5 is when Emperor Georgiou shows up and talks to Pike, and Pike later on in the episode talks to Burnham. It's like, all right, literally, what's going on? Like, you had your phaser
out with that gun, and he was like, "Why aren't you putting it down?"
Right.
Like, you awake over there?
Yeah. It's
Burnham was about ready to give Georgiou those hands.
Right. Yeah. Right. So
it wouldn't have worked, but she was ready to do it.
I thought they were gonna fight each other when they went onto the elevator together. Mm-hmm. I was like, fight. No. Okay.
Right.
Right. So I fully expect. Right. So I fully expect next episode somehow to come out and him to tell us like, yeah, don't trust that bitch. She's not from this universe. Like, cause you told her like, listen, you know something's going on. You need to let me know. Tell me now. And she was like, listen, I'm not gonna drag it out. I will tell you when the time is right. He's like, all right, don't make me come and find you. And I'm like, he's not gonna have to come and find her. She's gonna tell him. Just like when she saw the Red Angel and didn't tell him that one time, and then she came back like literally the next episode was like, listen, I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't really sure myself, but you need to know I saw some shit. It was some crazy shit. I'm telling you right now, right? So I love the fact that they do that because it's why I praise Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. so much with it. When they do it, they treat us like we're intelligent adults. Like we don't need that. Mm-hmm. We as an audience don't need that dragged out. We don't need it dragged out. So they're going to show it to us up front right away and get it out of the way and deal with it. And I'm fine with it. And I got to bring this up too because we're talking about it right now. I absolutely love Anson Mount as Pike. Like he is doing such a great.
Absolutely.
He's doing such a great fucking job. It is.
He has such great face. Like when he knew like something was up, especially when he was talking to his quote unquote friend, and then he's talking to the Admiral. He's like, "Oh, you showed up kind of quick there, Admiral." And he was like, I know that's not Georgia. Like, but I'm gonna sit here for a bit or stand here and I'll let y'all cook, but I'm gonna get my answers.
Yeah.
I'm a Starfleet officer, and I do kind of play by the rules here.
Yeah.
And he said that even to his friends. Like, this is my ship. When this friend was gonna drag him out, it's like, no, we are going to wait. I'm still the captain here.
Well, yeah. I think that's the thing too that's also great is that it's such a stark difference from the captain we had before. He's definitely not Lorca, right? Lorca was always doing some shady shit. We were like, can't trust this motherfucker. He's doing something shady. What the fuck shady shit is he doing this time? He's up to something. Right. You can't trust him. With Pike, I'm like, you know what? I'd follow this guy. You know, like when he gives that speech where they're like, listen, we're gonna be half in, half out of this jump because we gotta rescue Tilly because I don't know her. I've only known her a little bit, but she would put her life on the line for the rest of us. So we're gonna do the same thing. And I'm like to me in the back of my mind, logically, I go, listen, that's still one person versus entire ship. Doesn't make any fucking sense. That's fucking bullshit. But he's so good at it. I was just like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Let me go ahead and get in this shelter right now. We're all gonna risk death to save Tilly. Absolutely right. 100% Captain. We're right behind you. Like, that's how good he is with this, you know? So, yeah. No, he's been doing a great fucking job.
The only thing that there's a small part of me that hopes that there's no sort of plot twist involving him. I know the writers are smart. They've demonstrated that they're smart. I like Pike. I don't want.
You've been burned by Lorca, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm still kind of jumpy.
You don't want to turn out to be a mirror universe Pike, where it's like, gotcha, bitch.
Some madness. Just let
like
him
a Pike from the future or something.
Right.
Well, he could be Pike from the future, because Pike from the future is in a cave somewhere and hooked up to a respirator or something.
Right.
Looking like what was the name of the lady on that South Park episode in the little
I hate you.
Oh man, like in the iron lung somewhere. Yeah, no. No. Yeah, I'm with you though, yo. If here's the thing, anything that happens to Pike is gonna hurt me. So if they end up like I'm hoping what happens with Pike is in this season he goes back to the Enterprise. And we go for, and that's it. Like, we don't have to see what ends up happening. Like, let this man go in peace. Like let him go in peace.
Considering we know that he's going to have a hard time,
right? We know. Like,
yeah.
Can he have a good life on Discovery right now? Can we keep it good? Because like, I like this guy right now.
Happy ends, and I don't know what you thought this was, sir.
I just say, I know, but I'm just saying, I kind of like him.
What if they do this shuttle accident on Discovery?
Oh, ma'am.
God damn it. Well, but you know what?
No,
I can see them doing that.
Wasn't he on the Enterprise when that happened, or was he not? I don't 100% remember.
It's not the right. It's too early in the timeline for that.
I would say it's
because
right.
It's still. I think we are still about 5 to 7 years before Kirk even takes command of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work with the timeline.
But they can fuck with us with a fake out, and you will all be like, no.
You need to stop with that madness.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let Pike live, please.
But if he does, well, he technically does live.
You know what?
We're not talking about we didn't use anything about quality of life. You gotta be specific with this.
Shut up. Shut up.
But like, if they did do it, it's gonna be something. He's become so part of the crew right now. It'll be to save the crew or something like that. Like, it's gonna be something where you're just like, God damn it, this guy is so good. Like, he's like, at first everybody looks at Pike coming taking command of the ship. We're like, motherfucker, you ain't Discovery. You wasn't with us shooting phases in the mirror universe. What the fuck you doing? Like, you wasn't here. Now we're like, well, no, Captain Pike's part of the crew. Like, he's one of us. Like, we good. When they like. I love it when they call him. It's like, hey, yeah. So, I know we're gonna come back real quick, but we think we found Hugh. Excuse me. Didn't he die? Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. He was like, what? He's like, yeah, Hugh. He was our doctor. He's like, I know who the fuck it is. What are you talking about?
right. He went from speaking. He went to sit down at the captain chair and be like, just so I got this correctly. Who? What happened again? Like, yeah, I know what the fuck are you guys talking about? Are you guys snorting mushrooms right now? What are y'all doing in that? What are y'all doing?
Or how about his reaction saying, "Oh, we think Tilly's still alive, but she's like in the mycelium network."
His reactions to all of this weird ass shit is just amazing because he's been on the Enterprise. Like, their whole mission was to go out and see stuff that nobody's ever seen before, and he's sitting there like, "This is some weird shit."
Right, it's like, yo, what the fuck are y'all? Like, what the fuck y'all be doing? Like,
I ain't never seen no shit like this before. What's going on?
I'm fucking crazy as shit. You know? So, I'm sorry. You know what? His head of security always be freaking me out too. Cause look, she'd be wearing like those braces headgear. And it's just
freaks me out because she just pops up out of nowhere. Like he's like, oh, I don't think she likes me. You look over, she's sitting there.
Right. Like, yo, who the fuck is that?
I was like, oh wait, or they're talking on a bridge and they're having a conversation. All of a sudden, you hear her voice, and then it turns to her. It's like, where the hell did you come from?
Yo, she pop out of a bulkhead somewhere, just like, yo, what you doing right now? You're not supposed to be here.
Oh, you know what it reminds me of? Merlin. On Arrow, that one season Arrow. And he was like, does he just show up to give bad news?
It's like, yeah, you should really include that. You should really increase the Arrow cave security. It's like, we be doing that. You are ninja. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you're gonna find out. Like, if we I'm swear to God, if we find out that Pike's head of security's last name is fucking Merlin or something like that, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
She looks so unbothered at the table as Tyler was like looking at it. Yeah, she don't like me too much, and she's like,
she looks unbothered all the time. That is her
doing a little pad. She's playing like Angry Birds, just sitting there watching him.
Right. It's one of those. It's not even like she was trying to fake like she wasn't like staring at him. She's like, he's just sitting there like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm over here doing my reports and looking at you. What are you doing?
I can multitask, right. Bitch. What?
We here. We gonna say here. We here now. We doing this. All right, let's get into Love bringing back Hugh and everything like that. So I knew when they went in, I was like, when Mary started talking about the destructive force, I was like, if we find out that there's some version of Hugh still there, I'm gonna. And then when it turned out he looking like all cavemanish with all that hair and hadn't shaved in like, months, I was like, this is gonna be heartbreaking.
They spoiled it. Well, I spoiled it because I was checking Twitter that morning, and Wilson Cruz was going on a press, doing the rounds on press, and I was like, oh, they're gonna bring him back this week. So I kind of went in knowing that. It didn't take me long to figure out that he was the one that was the problem.
Right.
Can we take a step back and just talk about the whole body horror thing with Tilly?
Oh, yes.
Like, I had the lights on for the last couple episodes, and probably the next one with them black goo creatures are coming. Because I was like, oh, wait, she's eating her? Well, what's going on here? It looked like in that thing that popped up was like some Cornerberg aliens. So like, oh my God, they transformed her into a pod. Oh no.
I'm mad you're over here reading my notes, right? I'm mad you're over here reading my notes because in my notes it literally says Star Trek takes a swerve into Cronenberg land.
It was some Invasion of the Body Snatchers level stuff going on.
Well, when you first find out that it's like, cause you see Mary, when we ended episode 2, we're like, who the fuck is Mary? Who the fuck is? Oh, Tilly's seeing shit now, and Tilly done bumped her head and gone fucking crazy. And then I think in episode 3 we get a little bit more of her where she's literally running around, she's seeing the thing in front of her. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Then when they find out it's a fungus. I'm like, see, this is why you don't be messing with that fungus shit, guys. First of all, you over here doing
Just say no to drugs.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, also, so before we get even further in that, I asked for it, I got it. I love Jet Reno.
Yes. But Janet be doing the most. I keep saying, I keep wanting to call her Janet because of the former, Janet, but yeah, just the most, just doing the most. I need her to come down like several layers, like
her.
She's an engineer snob. She's like, I got duct tape.
Yo,
and does anyone have any gum?
The back and forth between her and Stamets was so good.
Yeah, that was the best.
They're
the absolute best.
The fact that she zapped her, and I was like, you made the problem worse.
Right. So I can cut her hand off. We can just go from there. It's like, yo, what the fuck, yo? You can't fix that with duct tape. When she got knocked out and she was like, I dreamed I was playing drums with Prince. I was like, God damn it, I love this woman.
Yeah, when she said y'all travel off of the stuff I pick off my pizza, I was done.
God.
She's like, oh yeah, we're gonna listen to the creature that's controlling the Tilly? Are you sure it's Tilly? You know, let's just cut her hand off.
Right.
Which, you know, let's just, yeah.
But yeah, so you know, when you find out there's this fungus, and then you find out it's a creature, and then we're going through all this stuff, and they're talking to it, you're just like, this is a lot of stuff going on here. And then,
well, no, let's talk about the talking to drilling a hole in her head.
I didn't want to talk about
that thing. Ooh.
And her singing through it. Although they do keep you alive when they do. I mean, alive, Lord.
Yes,
Jesus.
they do.
They keep you awake. When they keep you awake.
And he's like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" No.
I'm sorry, that wouldn't work on me. That wouldn't work on me. It wouldn't work on me. Can I turn around? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, bro. I see your hand moving up. I see your hand moving up. You got to put a blindfold on me if you're going to do that shit, because I hear the drill. I hear the thing. It's right there. Your singing does not make me. Matter of fact, your singing is even creepier. If you can sing and drill into my head at the same time and keep your hand steady, that's actually, you've done this before.
And Jet knew the right drill bit to drill into somebody's head. I was like, oh no.
Well, no,
we can't be friends.
No, don't forget you have to keep all those people alive on the planet, though. So
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
I do appreciate Stamets for reminding her to sterilize the drill bit before he actually did it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because she probably wouldn't have done that.
Oh no, she certainly would not have. She would have just drilled a hole in her head with a rusted drill bit. Like, what are you doing, woman?
the job done, dick.
And then I see the preview for I think is it 4 that has whatever the episode it was that had the thing grabbing on the Tilly. I was like, okay, now we're getting into terrifying territory here, because now the thing is like eating her, turning into like the blob. This ain't cool.
I want to see that movie. That was a great movie. It was a great movie.
I was actually kind of thinking like Stuff, that old like 80s movie where they ate the parents and turned them into pod people. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna make a pod Tilly. No.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that too. I was like, yo, are we sure that's Tilly?
Yeah.
Are you really sure that's really Tilly? Because I don't know about that. Don't trust that.
And can we talk about how the fact that May basically like dissolved her and then reformatted her, kind of like a transporter, but biologically, and I don't know which one is scarier.
The biological one, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Is that a clone? Like, I think there was that old joke in the motion picture, like why Dr. Bones doesn't like the transporter because he always believes that like you're destroying a person and recompiling them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that what just happened?
Yeah, they basically.
Is that kind of what happened to Dr. Culber? I mean, is that really? It's going to get the whole. I guess in a way, it's good that Pike is kind of sort of religious, like the concept of the soul. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you think about it, like she got Aiden and then shattered back out whole. Kind
of.
Yes.
I mean,
it's a more gruesome version of the teleporter from The Fly.
Right.
Yes.
And so it does, like, at least with Tilly, you had a whole person. I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Hugh, because his physical body was the manifestation of the creatures inside. And I'm still trying to figure out like how much of his soul and stuff like that was actually transferred. Like, I'm very, very confused because we didn't really get, when he came back on the other side and into the Discovery, I don't think we had him talking yet.
Nope.
He didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything yet. So I'm still very, very nervous. Like, I don't think.
Again, I asked this question again. What's his power set?
Right, I feel like he got to come back with some kind of powers, right? Because even if he comes back as Hugh, the Hugh we know, and his soul, everything's there, right? He still basically those creatures basically said that we can't reform on the other side because we don't have human DNA. They're going to reform him, but like maybe they give him some extra power because they don't really. There were some things they didn't know that aren't really representative of humans. So like, Is he gonna have some kind of powers? Is there going to be something else about him that's like an enhancement because they didn't know? Like, he gets stabbed one time and then you find out that he can heal himself because they thought that's how humans work. Like,
or this already has a power set though, kind of, from what he did to himself to work with mycelium network, and he has goofy powers too. Yeah.
With the spore drive, does he become the new? Does he replace Stamets?
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Like, there's so many questions I have, about how this works and where we go from here.
Yeah, I totally didn't think about that. I mean, they were using like the equivalent of Frog's DNA to put him back together, right? So we know how that worked out in Jurassic Park. So
yeah, we've all seen that movie.
Yeah, and again, it's something that we've seen before happen in these kind of shows and movies where somebody reconstitutes somebody. It's a funny thing because I love American Dad, but I think it was one of the new episodes where they were like, "Oh yeah, Jeff's." Roger reveals it was like, "Yo, Jeff's an alien. You know that, right?" It's like, yeah, we had to rebuild his body, and we basically put Jeff's conscience in an alien body. So he has superpowers. Maybe we'll deal with that or not. It's kind of like that. It's like, does he? Does he not? Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really interested in how they do that. But even beyond that, I like the idea of how they handle the idea of how he even got in there in the first place, right? Yeah. Which is basically almost the point of Stamets almost like willed him in there. With his, with his tears,
the power of love compelled him.
Right. I didn't want to go all the way there, but it's kind of what they basically went with was the power of love.
Mm-hmm.
All we need now is a Huey Lewis song, and we're all set.
Yeah, let's not and say we did, shall we? Yeah.
I didn't say I was going to do it.
All right.
So,
but then it plays on what we've seen before with. Stamets saying that I keep seeing Hugh. I keep seeing him but he's not really there. And we had that conversation, I think, in the conversation with Tilly in episode 1. And at the back of my mind, I'm going like, you guys don't know enough about that. So I'm gonna say he does exist. And it turns out he does. And like I said, I think I love the way they did it, even down to the fake out at the end when we couldn't come with him that way. I was like, oh God.
I was like, no.
I was like,
you gotta be pissed off.
I was so hurt. I was like, y'all can't keep doing this to my baby.
Right. And then
I wouldn't have left the show, but I would have watched it with anger in my soul for the rest of the season.
Oh, you'd have heard me on Twitter. Because I mean, you don't throw that out there and then you snatch it back, especially after all the complaints about him dying in the first season. Like, yeah, I'd have been a little bit pissed.
Yeah, I was like, oh, goddamn, you guys better find another way. He lives. Something, you better do something. And they were like, oh, we'll send him back the way that Tilly came in. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Somebody on this team is smart.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, again, it showed you that they care and they listen because lesser shows wouldn't have. I mean, we all know, we've seen it. Lesser shows wouldn't have done it. Lesser shows wouldn't have even brought him back. First of all, wouldn't have understood what these two characters mean. Having two gay men in a relationship that they're not afraid of, like in a
healthy relationship,
huh?
A healthy relationship,
right? When Stamets is telling when he's telling him the story of when they went to the museum, and it's like you reach your hand back. I was like, oh, you guys are. Whoever wrote this is right. You guys are
tugging at the heartstrings.
Y'all out here, exactly. Y'all here being relationship goals.
You guys are. That was good. That was, everybody knows I have no heart. I have no soul. I'm over here trying to put Kelpien, asking what Kelpien tastes like on a bed of lettuce. That got me. I was like, okay, you guys are.
I hate you so much right now.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you don't want me to know what Kelpien tastes like, don't dress it up like a fucking, seafood buffet. Just hit a shirt off.
The one thing that we haven't quite addressed is that Ash Tyler being back on the ship, the one that actually killed Culber in the first place.
Oh, Stamets.
Oh, you saw that look.
That, yeah.
Stamets had that murder look like, I want to kill you, right?
It was like, and you better be glad my captain is here, and there's about 5 people between me and you, because so help me Jesus, I would cut your throat right now.
Yeah, because I was like, I mean, so Ash is like, I mean, like, he's back, right? So, no harm, no foul? Like,
oh my God, what happens when Hugh sees him?
That's what I'm worried. Well, what happened when Hugh sees him? How much does Hugh remember? You know, how long has it been? Because Hugh looked like shit in there, right?
He went on vacation. Of course, he looks like shit.
I know, but like, how long was he in there? Like, I don't know how long.
Time probably moves a whole lot.
We don't know what time works like. Yeah,
and that's what they do. We don't know what time works like in the network. Like, so, what is his reaction? I have so many questions now for how they do that. Same, like you said, with Tyler being on the ship, with Ash being on the ship. There's so many questions on that one as well. It's like, ooh, there's a powder keg forming on Discovery right now, and I am interested in seeing how and when it blows up, because it's got to. You got so many other things going on here, you know. I really want to like know. I'm not even gonna do that one either. I'm gonna let that one go. I've had too many Kelpien jokes now, but
stop now, please. Thank you.
just you know,
you can throw one more in there.
Well, I'm just saying with Emperor back too, because you know how she feels about. Is she gonna show up in the next episode? Is she gonna show up in the next episode going like, oh, we doing buffet now? Is it all you can eat? Like, I'm just.
Come back to school. Actually, she won.
I like this. My lord.
Look.
Be better people.
If you didn't want me to make jokes about Kelpien, you shouldn't tell me that it was a delicacy in the mirror universe. I'm just saying.
He got a point there.
I'm just saying.
He doesn't.
You throw it out there. I gotta ask. But no. I'm. Yeah. This is like. I haven't been this invested in a relationship like this in Star Trek in a long time. Like Hugh and Paul being back together. I'm really happy. Like I'm also glad that they're like, with all the stuff they've been through, like they're the healthy relationship. Like, because even right now with, you know, you got the love triangle between L'Rell, Ash, and Burnham. You know, Paul and Hugh are they're the healthy relationship. Like, and I like that. And I love the fact that they're there. I know we had some of the do you want to read some of the interview they did about the about this episode?
Yeah, so the Hollywood Reporter did an interview about some of what is going on with the bringing back of Dr. Culber and just his relationship to, you know, the LGBTQ community. It's a great little interview. I don't know where to really begin. I'll read a couple of the questions here. So the question was, before getting to Culber's return, let's start by talking about his death. What were your initial reactions to find out he would die in season 1? And so Wilson Cruz said, tears. I was shooting my first day on the second season of 13 Reasons Why. I just finished doing my makeup and received the call from the producers. I was really disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I had to pull together and get to work. The fan response has been unrelenting for a year, and I love the passion that people have for these characters in this show. And it's been overwhelming to keep people excited and engaged and not worry too much about the fact that Culber was gone. And then Anthony Rapp responded was, when I first got to meeting the producers about the show, I was told that things were going to go sideways for Stamets, but they didn't get into specifics. It wasn't until we were shooting the episode before this death that they reached out to me personally to let me know this was coming. We were also told pretty soon after that we're going to be a way for Hugh to come back, and processing all that information in little drips was certainly intense, but I kept trusting and leaning into the quality of how it was going to be handled. So that was like a big controversy last season, was his death. And a lot of people were upset. I think even we were very upset about the death of just another gay character, not to mention the fact that it was a male gay character, that trope, and just the brutality of it. It was just, you know, Ash Tyler, the character, snapped his neck, and that was like it. And he kind of came back, and he was a ghost thing. We weren't really sure, and so there was a lot of pushback about this. And I think the show writers must have realized kind of instantly that they made a mistake, and maybe that's why they brought the character back. It's clearly somewhat from the interview that they planned on killing the character, but I'm satisfied with them bringing the character back, and hopefully we get away from that kind of a trope thing in writing and getting broader, characters that, we have television shows like Pose, and there's been a lot of, different dimensions for that community, but I can understand why they were finally having a queer character on sci-fi, one of the premier sci-fi shows, having them being in a relationship, having them being two gay men, which is a big thing. Because oftentimes you see, lesbian characters or bi characters, but you don't see too many two gay men that are in loving relationships on television and displaying it very affectionately and being played by two gay men.
Yeah.
Right. I think that, but two men that had stature before they joined the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Cruz, both Wilson Cruz and Anthony Rapp are legends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way they handle it, like I do believe that they probably did have a plan to bring him back, but I think the way that they handled it, seeing the reaction of people, because you don't want to spoil your show, right? You don't want to basically go like, no guys, listen, we did it here, but there's a reason. It's not going to be a trope because we're definitely going to bring him back. We're going to lean into this. I think one of the ways they did it was at San Diego, and he might have been at New York, but at San Diego. They had Wilson Cruz there, so he was there with the show and with the cast, and so you kind of knew it was like, okay, they're bringing him back because he's here with the cast doing interviews and things like this. So, and I think that was part of their reaction to the criticism, because I think normally a show would have kept it under wraps. You kill a major character off and you bring him back. You don't let people know you're bringing them back if you can. Could you kind of play it quiet and kind of play coy about it? Here, it seems like they were very vocal. It's like, okay, we have a vocal community that supports and likes these characters, like these shows, and we need to basically be upfront and open without giving away too much of how he comes back. We let them know, like, stick with us. We hear the complaints, we see it, and we're going to make sure that we do right by you all. And I wish more shows would understand that, right, and handle it that way. Of there's a way to do this and answer your fans, answer the criticism, and not particularly spoil everything of how you're going to address it, but still be open and address it as you go forward. And I think that's what's making season 2 of Star Trek Discovery so good. Like, they haven't really gotten off message from what they were doing in season 1, but I think they have been more open in responding to criticisms and adding in small things that honestly don't change and deviate too much from their plans, and I really do wish more shows would do that. Like, we talk about this with Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. does it all the time. Like, the good shows do this, and it's how it's how you build your loyal fan base. It's how you probably get 30 fucking seasons of Supernatural. I don't know.
Hey, now they just had their 300th episode, okay?
Like I said, 30 seasons.
It was amazing. I was scared.
But don't knock the hustles.
But the way all jokes aside about Supernatural, I'm like, there has to be something about that show that they give the fans and they give their audience and their fan base what they want for it to keep going back. And I think that's what, a show like Star Trek, especially a show that's supposed to be inclusive and about diversity across ethnicity, sexuality, and all these things. You have to make sure that you answer those bases, and knowing that the loudest critiques we heard that were getting in the media were the angry white fanboys. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that the answers we're getting and the critiques they're answering for are the ones for the more marginalized communities.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing to me also that makes my love for this show so great, is they saw all the complaints, and the complaints they answered are the ones that should actually matter. And that's how it should be the template for everyone, whether it's gaming, movies, TV shows, comic books, whatever. You keep giving into you give into the marginalized communities and their critiques, and you forget the fucking rest.
Yeah.
and that's what it should be. So I'm really happy with
healthy critiques. Basically, is what it comes down.
Yeah, the ones that are actually critiques, the ones that are actually like, listen, we love this character. We're really upset that you killed them off because of this trope here and there, and they go, all right, cool, bet we were going to bring them back, but we're going to be more vocal about this so you guys understand that we haven't forgotten you and go for it from there. Like, again, much better than that. Than just too much diversity on here.
Well, I mean, it just makes sense. You want to respond to the people who say, I like your product. I will spend more of my money if you did X, Y, and Z, versus the people who say, oh, your product sucks. I'm never going to spend your money because of X, Y, and Z. Like, which one do you think is the more receptive audience for you?
Yeah.
You respond to the people who are actually fans, who are telling you these things out of love.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we didn't mention this, but we got number 1 showing up.
Yes. Hey, girl, she did a great job. I loved it.
Good as usual.
She still got it.
Yeah. And I love her person that I like. For those of you who remember the pilot with the Christopher Pike of the original series, she captured that perfectly. That self-assuredness, that confidence, that kind of mischievousness. Like, yeah, you don't want to know how I got it. I just know I got skills and I got the information you need.
And these are really big shoes to fill because that character was played by Gene Roddenberry's wife, who was no longer with us. And if I were in her shoes, I'll admit I would be a little intimidated by that. I mean, just because of what she means to Star Trek.
Yeah. I hope she comes back later in the season. I really do.
I'm pretty sure she will.
I think she will.
Yeah, I don't think they cast Rebecca Romaine just to let her. Yeah, I don't.
I know.
Cool. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
I do want to bring up a couple of things. So we're talking about like the beauty of the show and the effects, but I want to kind of talk about Flu Gang Saru and how he was like the only one that knew how to speak all the other languages without the universal translator.
Wait, y'all learn 97 languages? The fuck wrong with you lazy motherfuckers?
That was so
I found that was an interesting commentary about the direction of technology and certain skill sets that we don't use anymore because we have things like the microwave. So maybe we don't cook things from scratch at the oven or the stovetop as much anymore. And in this case, they rely heavily on the universal translator that they don't really know each other's languages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a big shop of babble right there. I found that was very funny and interesting. And of course, Saru was the one that could like read and fix all the computers and just going place to place to place to place.
Well,
sorry.
No, I was gonna say. Well, it also goes to the idea.
I was gonna say it also speaks. That's an allegory to the American experience. You have people who come here from countries where English is not the native language, and they learn English, or they learn English before they come here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of English-speaking Americans who go to other countries don't do well if. I think of like places like Thailand, like not Hong Kong, but parts of China. You have to have some facility with Mandarin or with Thai to do it, but they don't do it. But they can come here and they learn different languages. I think of my friend Asia, who podcasts with us sometimes, who's multilingual. It's just, isn't that just the experience? You have this marginalized individual who excels and can also work across different cultures while the majority are just like, yeah, I can speak this one language.
Well, it goes even beyond that too, right? To piggyback off of that, it's the idea that he's not just from a marginalized community; he's the only one of his race.
Yeah,
that's
right.
And I think that there's a continually references the idea that he wants to. He
has to do everything.
As the trope has gone, he wanted to be a credit to his race.
Right. So he does everything. He does everything more, which quietly we should talk about this because once Pike is gone, there's going to need to be a captain. And I know for the longest time everybody was talking about Burnham taking over and being the captain, but like I almost want Saru to become a captain of the Discovery.
Yeah.
Because
Burnham can't become the captain.
She's not an officer. She's not a Starfleet officer.
No, she is.
They made her.
Okay, so I'm putting on my military hat here for a second. As I see Starfleet, they have the captain, they have the number one or the first officer, and they have department heads, division officers, so on and so forth. Pretty much like how the regular military has. Burnham, the way I see it at this moment, Burnham is classified as a science officer, so she is the department head. Saru is the number 2, and right now Pike is number 1. So when Pike leaves, they will probably still get that captain from Vulcan that they just left sitting there, like twiddling his thumbs or his or her thumbs or whatever. But if they don't, then Saru will be the captain, and then Burnham will be bumped up to number 1 because it's pretty evident that she is third in command.
Right, like Saru was acting captain before, so it is one of the. It seems to me that he would be kind of next in line, and you see what he does, and you're like, you're quietly watching as Saru is actually pretty good at his job. Like he's like, when we first met him, we're like, oh man, he's kind of weak. He's kind of afraid of everything. Like, no, actually, he's really fucking good at his job. He knows the ship in and out. He's helping Tilly go through her commander program, which we kind of she's going through that, and she'll probably get back into there and do that. But like, he's got it, and so I'm wondering if you're right that they had this other captain they're going to put there, but if whatever they go through the rest of the season should prove that Saru has what it takes, and then Pike puts in a good word for him, we might get Captain Saru, Captain Calamari, yo.
Thank you all for listening. We are done because Chris.
I did not. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was here for all the Kelpien jokes, but that was a line too far.
Come on, you guys can't tell me Captain Calamari wouldn't be kind of fun though.
Yes, we can. Stop it.
Haters.
Do you think they would call them that, like behind his back, like because like the boss jokes?
Just Chris. No, just Chris. Just Chris. Because we don't know how to act right.
You know when it happens right, the name of the episode is going to be Captain Calamari, right? Just so we're all sure.
Everybody.
I just want to make sure. Like, don't let it happen. Don't let Saru become captain, because he will be Captain Calamari. I'm just throwing it out there. It's already kind of like what Commander Crustacean or whatever the fuck. I'm just saying. Let's just don't get me started. Don't get me started. Anything else more serious you guys want to talk about before we end this episode?
Can we talk about how
Janet will be taking over as editor-in-chief of the MTR network so we can get Chris under control here. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Erosion.
Just about Tilly and Michael's relationship this season. Because there was that episode 3, where Tilly was seeing May and she was like breaking down. Mm-hmm. And Michael was like basically crying over, Amanda's shade about what she said about Spock. And Michael was trying to brush off being their stoic self, like, oh, what's wrong with you? And Tilly was like, no, you're crying. So we're going to talk about you first. Right. And the fact that Michael was like racing to try to find out what happened to Tilly. And she's like, Stamets, you're taking me with you. And Tilly being there for Michael, and just that dynamic of that relationship deepening. And they've seen each other as mutuals, I would say, this time around.
Don't forget, Tilly was really her first friend. She was the only one who would fuck with her after the whole battle of the binary stars and that fallout. So
right.
This is just a natural deep. I mean, I feel like they had already gotten to this point, but it's just her reaction was completely natural. It made sense to me that she was like, "Oh no, we're gonna get my girl back. So what we got to do that?"
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, I've loved that. I love the development. Again, the development of all the characters and their relationships has been so good this season. I've really, really, really have enjoyed that. So, all right. Well, that's the 3 episodes, 3 through 5. We will be back, and let's see. I'm trying to see when that's 5. We will be back. I think looks like second week of March, after episode 8.
Are they taking a major break in this? I haven't looked at the schedule.
I don't think
from
so.
what I've seen,
it doesn't look like it.
No.
I'm seeing on IMDb they have everything up to about April 5th.
Yeah.
As projected to being published. So I'm assuming no.
Yeah, I'm thinking they probably, which is fine with me because I just realized that we get a 2-week break with the Arrowverse. I'm really excited. So I found that I was like, oh wait, there's no 2 weeks. Perfect. I need the break. So, all right, folks, we will be back in March to talk about the next 3 episodes. Again, watch the show; it's great. And have seafood this weekend. So. All right, we're out. Until next time, we're out of here. I had to get that last one in. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.